Okay.
It was Eric Hosmer, I do believe. Wasn't it, Ed?
Yeah, Hosmer plays first base for them. He was a guy that is one of my favorite players. I don't know why. It's kind of one of those things in sports where just for no reason whatsoever, you just like a guy.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that they were big-time division rivals, once the Indians were out a few years back, I was really rooting for that Royals team that had Lorenzo Cain, Eric Hosmer. I really liked those guys a lot. But Hosmer, for the signing that he made, the kind of money that they paid him, I don't think you're ever going to see the return on your investment. I think the big story in San Diego is going to be their prospects. Fernando Tatis Jr. and a few others out there. That's the big story. What's interesting to me about Machado going to that team is when I was talking about Harper earlier, he's going to a Phillies team that's ready to win now. I do not think at all that this Padres team is ready to win now. They don't have the pitching. They don't have the lineup. That was what shocked me more than anything, is that he went to a team that was not ready to win now. He left an absolutely stacked Dodgers team, I think, to go to a Padres team that's going to lose a lot of baseball games, at least in the short term. So, interesting move. I'm guessing he followed the money. I don't know him personally, like he doesn't call me or anything, so I don't know exactly his motivations, but I'm guessing he followed the money.
What do you think about this move?
Yeah, I didn't get that call.
I mean, I think he chased the money too. I think him kicking the first baseman in the back of the foot lost him a little bit from some teams last year. Maybe not too much, obviously, with how much money he got. But I don't think, honestly, San Diego really needs pitching in order to do well, in that park especially. I think they can get away without pitchers, but only way they're going to do some serious damage is if Hosmer, and I really think Will Myers is the key to that team for doing well. If Will Myers can put up like 100 RBI season, maybe like 30 home runs, 20 stolen bases, I think they make a run for playoffs, but that's the only way if Will Myers and their three stars do well.
I'll say that, just in looking at it now, because I don't follow the NL West that much. Being an AL guy, it's easy for me. Being an Indians fan, following that division, everybody kind of follows the Yankees and Red Sox, right?
Right.
But just looking at it now, literally bringing it up right before you, I follow baseball pretty closely, and I'm having trouble, figuring out who most of San Diego's starting pitching staff is right now. So I don't know. I'm not seeing them as being competitive right now, particularly in a division that features a team like the Dodgers and the Rockies. So I think that's tough.
What I've been hearing from like a lot of like ESPNs and on the MLB network, they're saying that the Dodgers is the team of the future in the NL West. About 2 or 3 years from now, they'll probably be the favorites coming out of not only the NL West, but maybe the NL period. So that's something to be looking forward to if you're a Padres fan. But all right, so what about the rest of the division? What do we think, and who's going to be the favorites to win this division?
I definitely have the Dodgers winning the division. Definitely making another run for the World Series. I don't see really the big loss of Yasmani Grandal. They did bring in Russell Martin, which really hasn't done anything in the last few years, but maybe bringing him back to sunny LA will do something for him.
How do they replace Machado?
They went most of the season without Machado last year anyways. I think they have enough talent all around, especially young talent, like with Bellinger, all these young guys that always seem to step up for them. I think they lose a big distraction in Yasiel Puig. They still have all their stud pitchers. I think the Dodgers are going to be in another close race with Colorado, but the Dodgers win it.
And to answer your question, Bryce, about how they replace Manny Machado, some people might forget that they've got a guy, Corey Seager, who was an absolute stud 2 years ago. He's a highly touted guy as a prospect that was coming up. He's a machine over at shortstop. He missed all or most of last year with an injury, and he'll be back, and that's ultimately what I think made Machado expendable. But Corey Seager, absolute stud for the Dodgers. I agree with Matt that that's a team that wins the division. The Rockies are maybe the most interesting team to me because they were a team last year, made the playoffs, I think rightfully so. I think Arenado is, if I was building a franchise, might be the number one guy that I go to start my team.
And real quick, Arenado got paid.
He sure did.
Colorado. Was it 8 years or whatever it was? $265 million.
Yeah, I think that is a much smarter contract too than what Bryce and Machado signed, at least for the team. I think that was a guy that wanted to stay in Colorado. It was pretty obvious. And a 7-year deal, much smarter. He's going to be, out of that contract by the time he's about 33, 34 years old. By the time that inevitable decline creeps in for any player, I think that's when he's out of that contract. So I think that was a great signing for the team. That guy's a leader. He plays phenomenal defense. He can absolutely rake at the plate. Whether he's in Colorado or away from Colorado, this guy hits. So it's not just that. And you've got some pieces around him. Daniel Murphy coming in, Trevor Story, David Dahl. Funny story for me. This guy's been a prospect. I feel like that's another highly touted guy for like the last 15 years. It seems that he's always right on the verge of becoming great. So we'll see what he does. And they've got a real ace in Freeland. I think that guy is the real deal. It's a guy who put up Cy Young type numbers last year in Colorado, which is always impressive. And they're going to be a tough team. But I don't know with the guys that I just mentioned, they've got enough to overtake the Dodgers.
I got you. All right, so both of you guys got the Dodgers winning the division.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir. And I have the if we're talking about climbers and fallers, I have Arizona taking the biggest steps backwards. I think losing Corbin and Pollock, I think that's a big deal. That they're just I think their little window in the sun, I think it's closed on them. I think it's over out there in the desert.
Eesh.
I have the Giants moving up though quite a bit. I have them almost. If not, I have them at 3, if not passing the Rockies towards the end of the year.
What makes you think that?
I think Bumgarner out the first first third of the year last year definitely set them back. I think the Giants are always a team to contend with. At home, they're always tough. They always sell out there. I believe for the last 6 years, it's been sold out every game. So that's definitely a team to see. I think they'll make a big jump this year, and Arizona making that fall, which helps San Fran go up.
All right, I dig it. All right, so I didn't give my pick for the NL Central. I'm rolling with Chicago, and then for the NL West, I'm gonna roll with the Rockies. You don't ask me why. Just
do it.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna roll with. So we're gonna see if I'm right at the end of this year. Wild card teams. Who we got?
Wild card. I have Atlanta because I have the Mets winning that division, and then I have probably the Cubs. So I have Atlanta and the Cubs.
Yeah, I've got Philadelphia making the playoffs there, with Atlanta winning the East, but and I've got the Cubs in the wild card with St. Louis winning the Central. So I think we'll see some Cubby fans in the playoffs again.
I'm going to roll with the New York Mets and then the St. Louis Cardinals as my wild card teams.
Watch for the Mets.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you guys. I think if I'm wrong at all, it's going to be that the Mets sneak past Philadelphia or the Mets sneak past the Cubs, or something happens where the Cardinals aren't as good as I think, or something like that, and the Mets they're right on the cusp. That pitching staff is incredible out there. And they went and picked up Diaz as their closer.
And they got Urias back.
Yeah. Yep, they sure do, man. That team is
back from the A's. They traded him to the A's and got him back.
yeah.
How
they
about
did.
that?
I didn't even think of that. Yeah, they sure did. But you're looking at DeGrom, Syndergaard, Wheeler. I mean, that's about as good as a 1-2-3 as you're going to see in the National League. I already talked a little bit about Nimmo out and right. It's a tough team. Michael Conforto is really good as well. It's a very good team. Don't get me wrong, and I hope that I'm wrong. I like all those guys that I just mentioned. I like them all. So I hope they see some success.
All right, and then let's go ahead and predict some. Do we want to do playoff predictions, like are they World Series predictions, or do I want to jump into season award predictions?
Well,
let's do playoff predictions.
Okay.
And then we'll do season award predictions. So, when it's all said and done, what two teams do you guys have in the World Series this year?
I got Boston in the AL, and in the NL, I'm gonna go with St. Louis. I really think they're gonna make a real big jump this year.
Okay. So we got Boston, St. Louis from Matt on the record. Write this down. Ed, you thinking hard over there, man?
Yeah, man.
Share your thoughts.
That's tough. That's tough. For the first time, you've got me a little speechless here. It's tough. I think you have a very front-loaded American League with Boston, New York, Houston. It's going to be very interesting to see who comes out of there. If I had to put my money on it right now, I will say that Cleveland comes out of the AL, of course, obviously.
I'll take your money. I'll take your money.
I never said it was smart money, man. I hope that, if there's any team whose window closes faster than Cleveland's, I couldn't name them. I don't think that they're going to be in contention when it comes that time. They're an interesting team, though. And I will say with Cleveland that they have the rotation to do some damage in a short series or a longer series. You don't know what's going to happen. A lot of times in baseball in particular, it's not the best team that wins the World Series, but the hottest team. So that's why World Series predictions at this point are particularly difficult. But I would say, the smart money is probably on Boston or New York. I'll go out here. I already said that I thought New York was going to win the division. I think I like their bullpen a little bit better, which is also super important in the playoffs. So I'm going to go with New York coming out of the AL. And out of the National League, we'll say Atlanta. I don't know. I think they've got something going on there in Atlanta, and I think they're going to be awfully tough. And I'd like to see some success for Freddie Freeman. So I'll say Atlanta coming out of the NL.
Okay, and you know what? Of course, you know what I'm picking.
Angels.
You already know. Los Angeles Angels, baby. We getting back to the World Series. Mike Trout, he's hitting 50 home runs, 200 RBIs.
200 RBI, huh? That's impressive. That's
record.
200
that's
hits.
A lot. 200 hits I could see. I could see 200 hits if they don't walk them a lot.
All that.
I like it, man.
He's going bat 335. MVP.
Okay. I can see that.
Nah, seriously. I'm going to roll with Boston for the World Series, and I'm going to have them going against Chicago. I don't know why. I like Chicago, man. That's one of my favorite teams just to root for. It's just like the story franchise. You know what it is? The World Series when they played Cleveland.
Stop it.
Listen.
What are you doing to me?
Listen, I'm sorry, Ed, but that was the first World Series I literally watched from Game 1 until Game 7, and I never thought baseball can be that exciting. That Game 7, that's one of the best Game 7s I ever watched in any sport. That shit was crazy.
Yeah, I've been saying it for a couple years since it happened. That if you wanted to take a guy that didn't watch baseball and introduce them to the game and show them what baseball is all about, I don't think it gets much better than that Game 7. It didn't turn out the way I would have liked it to have gone, obviously. But that game was incredible. That series was incredible. Just awesome. Absolutely awesome.
All right, so who do we got winning it all? Ed, you got New York and Atlanta.
Oh.
Weinberg, you got Boston, St. Louis. I got Boston, Chicago. I'm going to pick first. I'm going to go first. I'm going to let you guys get your time. I think the Boston Red Sox repeat as champions back-to-back. I fucking hate Boston, period. I hate the Celtics. I hate New England. Nothing against the Red Sox, though. It's just something I don't know. But all the other Boston teams, the Bruins, fuck them. Boston College, fuck them. Just fuck Boston besides the Red Sox. But I got the Red Sox winning the World Series.
Yeah, unfortunately, I have the Red Sox winning the World Series too. My roommate's going to love this one, but me being an A's fan, definitely not too fond of seeing the Red Sox hoist that up. But I think the Red Sox win it again. I think the only team that really could compete with them in the NL would be the Dodgers, but I think Boston wins it all.
I think it's particularly in baseball super hard to repeat as champions again because you're playing 162 games and then your season comes down to a 7-game series. It's a different animal than a lot of other sports. Very, very tough to repeat in baseball. My roommate is going to love this too, and when I say roommate, I mean my fiance. Big Yankees fan, but I would not be surprised if the Yankees won it all this year. I think they're built the way you need to be built to win a championship.